Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Seth Joyner Show. Well, I can safely say that Sunday's performance was not what we expected after a 7th-month hiatus. Expectations are high for this 2023 Eagles football team after last year's run-up to the Super Bowl. This season started much like last year's versus the Detroit Lions. I thought the Birds would show a little bit of rust early in this game, then find their stride in the second quarter. But while the defense and Jake Elliott set the tone early, the offense seemed to never get on track. It's time for my breakdown. Anytime you're facing Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, you can expect a battle to the very end. The Pats are much improved on defense and surprisingly gave the Eagles' new OC, Jalen Hurts, in this offense all sorts of issues. The Eagles served up a steady dose of Kenneth Gainwell early, and Hurts showed patience, taking the short passes and dump-offs to move the chain. But on their second possession, a 14-play drive that covered 61 yards, the Eagles could only muster a 32-yard Jake Elliott field goal. On the Pats' first possession, the defense went to work. After a short 6-play New England drive, Big Play Slay picked off a deflected Mac Jones pass and scampered 70 yards to the house, giving the Eagles a 10-0 lead. On the ensuing Pats possession, Jordan Davis, pursuing the football on a screenplay, stripped Zeke Elliott of the ball, which Zach Cunningham recovered, and the Eagles were in business once again at the Pats' 26-yard line. 4 plays later, Jalen Hurts hooked up with new dad Devontae Smith on a 5-yard out route for his first touchdown of the season. It looked as though the route was on, but after Jake Elliott missed extra point to make it 16-0, as the rain stopped in Foxborough, so did the Eagles' momentum in all phases of the game. The offense went 3 and out on the next 4 possessions. While Mac Jones found his rhythm with the short passing game, he nullified the Birds' pass rush. The Pats scored 2 touchdowns on the last 2 possessions of the first half. A 10-play, 71-yard drive culminating in Henry Hunter beating safety Reed Blankenship for a 9-yard touchdown. And a 6-play, 63-yard drive capped off with a 19-yard touchdown pass to Kendrick Bourne, who beat Bradbury on a slant to pull the Pats within 2 points before the half. Now, I'm not sure whether Hurts was out of sync or the game plan of Belichick made OC Brian Johnson uncomfortable. But Jalen looked out of rhythm, unevenly keeled, rushed, and lacked poise, something we hardly ever see out of him. Like I said earlier, he was content on the first couple of drives to take the dump-offs and move the chains. But as the game progressed into the second half, he seemed to be frustrated. He locked on to receivers rather than going through his progressions and missed a lot of open receivers. He seemed upset that he couldn't get his running game on track and seemed flustered and confused by the coverage that he thought he was seeing, which morphed into another coverage at the snap. Listen, you got to give Bill Belichick credit. He outcoached Johnson and seemed to confuse Hurts. He has 6 Super Bowl rings to his credit as a coach for a reason. Chalk it up as a learning experience for OC and quarterback alike. Not a failure, but they got the win. On the defensive side of the ball, I expected growing pains. With a new DC, a new system, linebackers and safeties in place. That being said, overall, I thought the defense was out of sync. They made some huge plays in the first half that, along with Jake Elliott's leg, proved to be the difference in the game. Sean Desai was much more aggressive, bringing 5- and 6-man pressures early. But Mac Jones' pre-snap read and the sight adjustments by the wide receivers hurt the defense with the short, quick passing game. Towards the end of the first half and much of the second half, they played much more zone coverage, a little more conservative, and rushed only 4 or 5 on linebacker delays and pressures. In the second half, the Pats managed little until the Eagles got conservative after 3 Jake Elliott field goals of 56, 48, and 51 yards. Jones led New England on a 6-play, 75-yard drive to pull within 5 points after Jalen Hurts fumbled at the Eagles' 41. New England had new life, but the defense stood tall and turned them over on downs. Then Nick Sirianni did the unthinkable, yet again, but got away with it. On 4th and 2 from the Pats' 44, instead of punting the ball and forcing New England to drive 80 yards, he went for it and turned it over on downs. Yet the defense stood tall once more and turned them away again on downs. There were a few questionable decisions by the coaching staff. One game does not a season make, and like last year, they overcame Week 1's debacle. I have full confidence that the Eagles staff, and players will right the ship. They have history on their side of doing so. Now, special teams continues to be a concern. On the Birds' first punt, Jones, the returner for New England, returned it 21 yards. Bad coverage. And Siposs mishandled the hole on Elliott's second extra point try. I hope the history does not repeat itself with this unit. Coming up next, Pete Bercich, former Minnesota Viking linebacker for 6 years, now the color commentator for the Vikings radio network, joins the Seth Joyner Show.
When you open the BetParx app, you're in the zone. Winning is always a rush, but the money is in the moments. It's the confidence and underdogs covering, the tension before a clutch turnover, and the pride of a parlay paying off. It's another chance to win big with all-day action. Plus, win your first $10 bet and get $125 in sports bonus bets. You play for fun, you love to win. You bet. BetParx.
This is Seth Joyner, top analyst for the Birds. I've also analyzed the best auto dealerships, and I drive a Davis Honda.
Fall into savings at Davis Honda. Over 300 cars available. And right now, get rates as low as 0.9% at Davis Honda in Burlington. Plus, you'll get 2 years of free oil changes on every new and used Davis Honda vehicle. See why Davis Honda continues to win outstanding awards for sales and service, including the highest award from Honda, the President's Award. Get to Davis Honda in Burlington.
Fall into savings at Davis Honda.
Welcome to Bridgeview Partners, where IT and business innovation merge. We're not just another tech company. We're your strategic partner in navigating the ever-evolving digital landscape. Our team of experts tailors cutting-edge solutions to fit your unique needs, and ensuring your success is our top priority. Elevate your business with Bridgeview Partners. Discover the power of partnership and tech innovation today. Contact us now to experience the difference. Bridgeview Partners, where innovation meets excellence.
If you understand that success is built on trusted relationships and dependable performance, MidPenn Bank is the right bank for you. We're on a mission to prove that the right bankers can make a big difference. We work harder, we get things done, and we're in your corner. With financial centers strategically located throughout the greater Philadelphia region and new locations in central New Jersey, we're ready to bring you the best in commercial and personal banking. Call or visit us today to connect with a professional MidPenn banker. Member FDIC. Go Eagles!
At Revolution X, we know that fortunes are made in times of uncertainty. Are you selling your investment real estate? Are you interested in deferring your tax with a 1031 exchange? At RevX, we're experts in 1031 exchange planning and the use of passive real estate options using DSTs. Not in the midst of an exchange and want to invest in real estate but don't know where to start? Revolution X has institutional grade real estate options for any size investor right now. Set up a consultation at RevXWealth.com. RevX, defer the tax, maximize the gain.
This segment is brought to you by Davis Honda of Burlington. Welcome back. A former linebacker like myself who's donned the pads and now analyzes the game for the Vikings radio broadcast, Pete Bercich, is here to help me preview the Thursday night matchup. Pete, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I might have played the same position as you did, but I don't know if I wasn't as good as you were.
The Vikings open at home versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And listen, 85% of the teams look bad in week one. The first half, the Vikings had 8 possessions. They went 3 punts, 2 fumbles, 1 interception, 1 touchdown, and 1 field goal. And yet they were tied 10-10. How fortunate were they at that point in the game to be tied?
Right. And when you're -3 in the take-give, you win about 7% of the time. So thanks to a pretty good showing by our defense, it kept us in the game. But when you get behind the 8 ball possessions like that, then Tampa got the ball begin the second half. And what Tampa did was they started to run the football, right? They started to just first and second down, hand it off, get the third and manageable. And by the end of the game, the last 13 and a half minutes of that game, Tampa Bay ran 25 plays. The Vikings ran 6. So just being able to move the chains, having an identity on offense, having an identity in the running game, those are the things that we kind of got away from. I mean, Kirk Cousins threw the ball 44 times, right? We threw the ball 74% of the time. We have a 35-year-old quarterback. I don't know if we can keep that up. Got you.
Now, look, this Minnesota team look different in a lot of positions. Tell me, how has the changes, and the team chemistry affected the outlook of this team, which a lot of people feel like, were playoff contenders, in your opinion?
Yeah, going into this season, that was absolutely something that we had expected. I mean, we expected to go to the playoffs. I think offensively, really the main difference is no Dalvin Cook, right? And so the question is going to be, can we be explosive in the running game, without Dalvin Cook? We run a lot of play action passes. Cousins is good when you can move him and get him out of the pocket. But our defense is going to pay attention to and respect those types of play action passes when you're averaging 3.1 yards per carry. I don't know. Defensively, we get to the game and we're without Marcus Davenport. He gets injured during the week, which is just super disappointing because we expected him, to be a big replacement for Zadarius Smith. So we still haven't seen him out there yet. But defensively, much more aggressive, much younger, and overall did a pretty good job in their first outing. So a lot of strides, I think, have been made defensively. Brian Flores doing a wonderful job getting those guys just moving around, showing different looks, doing different things. But offensively, we put up a lot of numbers, but just couldn't get it done right when you needed it to.
Right. So no more Cook, no more Kendricks, no more Thielen.
Right.
Is this team quietly going, through a rebuild? How the fans and the media, perceiving the direction of this team right now?
Yeah, I think Cook was a big loss. I think he was the heart and soul kind of the offense, right? And again, he gave our run game enough juice to to be respected. On defense, you do lose Eric Kendricks, but we have this undrafted rookie free agent named Ivan Pace. And Seth, I think if you get a chance, watch this kid on tape. He's about 5'10". He's like London Fletcher kind of all over again, and he's just fun to watch. He flies around, he hits people. He's kind of old school in that respect. And he was second out of the team in tackles. He had 8 last week. So hopefully, he's young, so he's going to the passing game is going to take some time, but when it comes to being downhill and going after, stopping the run, he's very, very good at what he does.
No doubt. So you're close enough to this team to gauge where they are. The Eagles played a lackluster game on Sunday and won, yet the Vikings played a similar game and lost. What will the team's temperature be like, knowing they can ill afford to go to 0-2, and at that on the national stage?
Right. It's the reality of the situation to say, you go out and lose to Tampa Bay, a game that, you were 5.5-point favorites at home, and you don't get the job done. So the question is not necessarily, woe is me because of what happened. It's more like look at the opportunity that's in front of you. If this Viking team can go out on a short week on a Thursday, find a way to win a game in Philadelphia. Doesn't matter how. Just find a way to win that football game. You're at 1-1 after 2 weeks, which most people probably thought you were going to be anyway. But the opportunity that's there, right? You have the opportunity to right this ship.
Listen, man, it's great to meet you and have the opportunity to talk some ball between, two old linebackers. Looking forward to Thursday night, man. I appreciate your thoughts and insights.
I am too. Congratulations on the induction into the Eagles Hall of Fame, and
thank you.
I still loved watching you play, man.
I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right. On the other side of this break, my fantasy and betting guru, Brad Feinberg, is here with his picks for Week 2's matchups.
When you open the BetParx app, you're in the zone. Winning is always a rush, but the money is in the moments. It's the anticipation of another face card, the thrill of an extra spin, and the pure joy of a jackpot. It's all your favorite games at your fingertips. Plus, get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. You play for fun, you love to win. You bet. BetParx.
This is Seth Joyner, top analyst for the Birds. I've also analyzed the best auto dealerships, and I drive a Davis Honda.
Fall into savings at Davis Honda. Over 300 cars available. And right now, get rates as low as 0.9% at Davis Honda in Burlington. Plus, you'll get 2 years of free oil changes on every new and used Davis Honda vehicle. See why Davis Honda continues to win outstanding awards for sales and service, including the highest award from Honda, the President's Award. Get to Davis Honda in Burlington.
Fall into savings at Davis Honda.
Welcome to Bridgeview Partners, where IT and business innovation merge. We're not just another tech company. We're your strategic partner in navigating the ever-evolving digital landscape. Our team of experts tailors cutting-edge solutions to fit your unique needs, and ensuring your success is our top priority. Elevate your business with Bridgeview Partners. Discover the power of partnership and tech innovation today. Contact us now to experience the difference. Bridgeview Partners, where innovation meets excellence.
JP Mascaro and Sons is a family-owned, locally operated solid waste service company in business for over 60 years. You've seen the red trucks with the blue elephant that symbolizes strength and reliability. Mascaro is different than other national brands. Like the birds, Philadelphia is home. They'll take care of all your waste removal needs. They have it all: an experienced workforce, state-of-the-art equipment, a cutting-edge recycling center, and their own disposal facilities. Call 888-MASCARO or visit jpmascaro.com.
At Mandrecchia Law, we win big personal injury cases, but we always tell our clients up front that those cases almost always hinge on how much insurance coverage people or companies have. At Mandrecchia Law, we don't sell insurance, but we're experts at helping our clients make sure they have the right insurance to protect their businesses and families. Do you have the right insurance? Most people don't. For a consultation, visit mmattorneys.com or call 610-584-0700. Mandrecchia Law, aggressive attorneys who get the job done.
This segment is brought to you by Bet Parks. Joining me now is Brad Feinberg. Brad, how you doing?
Outstanding, Seth. How are you today?
So let's start with the bets first this week. You know, what matchups do you like for week 2?
Seth, I got 4 games for you. First, I'm going to start with the Bengals against the Ravens. Seth, look, as a former great, player the way you were, I'm sure there was games that you had as a team where you guys know you're good and you just laid an egg. And that, to me, was the Bengals last week. Weather was maybe a big part of it, but they were awful. Joe Burrow threw for 82 yards. I'm a big believer in this, Seth. You're not as good as your last game, and you're not as bad as your last game. And look, we saw the Bengals play their worst game probably in the last 3 years last week against Cleveland. I like them to bounce back this week against Baltimore, laying 3. Baltimore's a lot of injuries, Seth. I think Joe Burrow's great. I definitely feel like they win this game. If they win it by 1 or 2, I'll take my medicine. I thought this line should have been closer to over 4. I expect this line to go to at least 3.5. I really like the Bengals here to bounce back. Seth, I'll give you another game. Talking about not as bad as your last game, not as good as your last game. Mike Tomlin, to me, that's the coach I want in these situations. They were humiliated last week against the 49ers. Now coming at home on a Monday night game, getting to against a Cleveland team that everyone's telling them how great they are. I'm going to take my chances here, Seth. I think the wrong side's favored. I think Pittsburgh wins this game outright. You want to give me 2 points on top of it in case it's a 23-21 game? Sure, I'll take it. Like Pittsburgh to win outright. Next, Bears, another disappointing team playing against Tampa Bay. I like the Bears here getting 3, Seth. No, I do not like Justin Fields. I don't like the Bears per se, but I don't think Tampa Bay should be favored by 3 points at home in this game. I think these teams are pretty much dead even. If anything, I give the Bears a slight edge. In fact, the Bears over-under total, Seth, was 1 full game higher than Tampa Bay. So based off 1 game, you're now telling me Tampa's favored by a field goal? I say no way. Give me the Bears here. I think they have a 50-50 chance of winning the game outright. And last one, Seth, I like the under 41 points in the Green Bay-Atlanta game. We have 2 teams here, Seth, that we know, especially Atlanta, they're going to run the ball. And what an under-better's best friend is running the ball. Clock, going off on each run. I think this is going to be a game played in the low to mid-30s. Give me under 41.
All right, Brad, so on the fantasy front, few players and defenses look viable in week 1. Who are your undervalued fantasy players and defense for week 2?
I'll give you, okay, Seth, do you remember last year's game, Seattle versus Detroit? 48-45 shootout. Now, again, I'm not saying it's going to be 48-45 again, but I love Jared Goff here. I always call, Seth, the Detroit games at home like Coors Field for baseball. Those games, they just score points in that dome, and I think they're going to score points against Seattle here. I like Jared Goff priced outside of the top 10. I think you could argue he's a top 3 play this week. Give me Jared Goff. Running back, just talked about that same game. I like Kenneth Walker. Last year, our friend Rashad Penny, healthy scratch, ran for 151 yards against the same Detroit defense. Now Kenneth Walker's taking his place. He's not being placed as a top 15 back, Seth. Give me Kenneth Walker. Receiver, Mike Williams being priced outside of the top 20. Good, solid receiver who's finally healthy. When he's healthy, he's good. Going against the last-ranked pass defense in the Titans, I think it's a good play. I think Mike Williams has a good game. Give me him. And defense, Seth, I'm going to give you the Bears. Not that I love the Bears defense. I certainly don't. But they're going against one of the worst offenses in football in Tampa Bay, and they're being priced as a bottom 5 defense. Again, not saying I love them per se, but as a bottom 5 defense that I think has a chance to be at least mid-pack. Give me the Bears.
Now, on the Fatum front, for players in defense, who are you consider steering clear of this week?
Yeah. Well, Seth, I'm going to start out quarterback, and I think he's a great player. Again, Lamar Jackson is being priced as a third best quarterback this week. We just talked about it earlier when I gave out the Bengals in the game. I like the Bengals in the spot. Lou Anarumo does a really good job on defense. And here's the thing, from a fantasy point of view, Seth, you want Lamar Jackson to be running the ball, right? Because that's how in fantasy, that's how you get these things. When he gets these 80-yard gains or 80-yard runs, 80 big plays, that's how he accumulates big fantasy points. Not so much throwing the ball. And he only ran the ball 6 times last week. So I think they wanted to go more passing this year, which, while it may help the Ravens as a team, not going to help Lamar fantasy-wise. Don't want to take him and pay up for being the third most expensive quarterback. Running back, Seth, Austin Eckler, second most expensive price running back. Great player. But the Titans defensively are the number 2 ranked defense against the run. He certainly could be involved in the passing game. That's why he makes a lot of his bones. I get it. But I'm not going to pay up for that against a team that actually specializes against running backs. And wide receiver, Seth, this one's easy. You don't need me to tell you this. Garrett Wilson, being priced as a 5th highest priced receiver, going against an elite Dallas defense with no Aaron Rodgers. No thank you. If he was even being priced in the top 20, I would not have any interest in Garrett Wilson. And last, Seth, defensively, I'm going to give you the Chargers. Crazily enough, Seth, they're being priced as the 6th most expensive defense. Now, I know that the Titans aren't a great offense, but I'm not paying up for that after watching that performance against Miami last week. No interest in the Chargers this week.
Brad, as always, you bring your fiery picks and convictions. Thanks, my friend. I'll see you next week.
I appreciate you, Seth. Thank you so much. Good luck, everyone out there.
Coming up next, my closing thoughts and predictions for Thursday night football's matchup, Vikings versus the Eagles at the Lincoln. JP Mascaro & Sons is a family-owned, locally operated solid waste service company in business for over 60 years. You've seen the red trucks with the blue elephant that symbolizes strength and reliability. Mascaro is different than other national brands. Like the birds, Philadelphia is home. They'll take care of all your waste removal needs. They have it all: an experienced workforce, state-of-the-art equipment, a cutting-edge recycling center, and their own disposal facilities. Call 888-MASCARO or visit jpmascaro.com.
At Mandrecchia Law, we win big personal injury cases, but we always tell our clients up front that those cases almost always hinge on how much insurance coverage people or companies have. At Mandrecchia Law, we don't sell insurance, but we're experts at helping our clients make sure they have the right insurance to protect their businesses and families. Do you have the right insurance? Most people don't. For a consultation, visit mmattorneys.com or call 610-584-0700. Mandrecchia Law, aggressive attorneys who get the job done. At Revolution X, we know that fortunes are made in times of uncertainty. Are you selling your investment real estate? Are you interested in deferring your tax with a 1031 exchange? At RevX, we're experts in 1031 exchange planning and the use of passive real estate options using DSTs. Not in the midst of an exchange and want to invest in real estate but don't know where to start? Revolution X has institutional grade real estate options for any size investor right now. Set up a consultation at RevXWealth.com. RevX, defer the tax, maximize the gain.
If you understand that success is built on trusted relationships and dependable performance, MidPenn Bank is the right bank for you. We're on a mission to prove that the right bankers can make a big difference. We work harder, we get things done, and we're in your corner. With financial centers strategically located throughout the greater Philadelphia region and new locations in central New Jersey, we're ready to bring you the best in commercial and personal banking. Call or visit us today to connect with a professional MidPenn banker. Member FDIC. Go Eagles!
When you open the BetParx app, you're in the zone. Winning is always a rush, but the money is in the moments. It's the energy of being all in, the passion of a perfect parlay, and the pure joy of a jackpot. It's another opportunity to win big every day of the week. Sign up for BetParx and get a welcome offer today. You play for fun, you love to win. You bet. BetParks.
This segment is brought to you by Bridgeview Partners. Welcome back. As we all felt the heightened anticipation of the beginning of a new season, I also felt the uneasiness of how the team played Sunday night, how the players performed, and how the coaches coached as well. But I'll reiterate, last year we felt the same way after squeaking out an early win versus the Detroit Lions. Then they went on a run. I get it. It's a new year, a new day, and they've got to prove themselves all over again this year. And they're no longer flying under the radar. The hunter has become the hunted. I have confidence in Nick Sirianni, even if he is still learning as he goes along here. Although the jury is still out on Brian Johnson and Sean Desai and Michael Clay, there's a sense of pride and leadership that won't allow these Eagles to fly below their standard. Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, Brandon Graham, and Darius Slay. The leaders on this team will not let them squander this golden opportunity with this talent to get back to another Super Bowl and do something great. Although it's a short week, guess what? It's a short week for the Minnesota Vikings too. Both teams will need to conjure up the energy and resiliency to lay it all on the line 4 days after playing the game 1 on Sunday afternoon. The Birds' approach needs to be as though they lost last week because the Vikings did lose. They'll come in with the mindset to loot and pillage, that's what the Vikings do, by any means necessary to leave Philly at 1-1. I get the sense that the Vikings are waiting for an excuse to just shut it down, no matter what anybody thinks. It's up to the Eagles to be the reason why they look forward to the next 10 days off than they do to fighting to the bitter end Thursday night. That will require better execution in all phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. What I like about this team is that there's no panic last Sunday. They know it's a marathon, not a sprint. Even though they trotted out their C game last week and still won, they realize they need to up that grade significantly as the season progresses if they want to get back to the promised land. Like last week, this is a team that the Eagles should beat the Minnesota Vikings. Let's be real. The Eagles are a better team from top to bottom than the Minnesota Vikings, but on every given game day, they will need to bring their best to secure the win. The offense will raise its level of play. Sean Desai will find a way to contain Justin Jefferson, maybe travel Slade with him with Bradbury probably out. They did it to him last year. I like the Eagles to win this game and move to 2-0, 32-14. Thanks for tuning in. That's the show. I'll see you next week as we look back on the Vikings game and look ahead to Monday Night Football versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good night, Philadelphia.